You are about to listen to a brand new episode of the Foreign Lady Podcast. I hope you enjoy. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and also support wherever you listen to your podcast. Now, let's get to the episode.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Foreign Lady Podcast. I'm your host, Liz,
And the bottom line,
and we're back with another episode. Before we start the episode, I just want to give my thoughts and prayers to the folks of Jamaica. As you know, I have a couple of friends that are Jamaican and been there, and it's a lovely place. So it's really, really hard to hear about the hurricane and everything. And I think Haiti was also affected,
it
and
was.
I think Cuba as well. So a couple of the islands were affected. So just thoughts and prayers goes out to them. I've been checking in on my friends and who have family there and just being like, if there's any way I can help and things like that. So if there's any way you guys can help, please help and keep them in your thoughts and prayers and everything. So I have my Jamaican cup here for drinking my tea. Yeah. But how are you doing? How's everything? How's your week?
I'm adulting to say the
Adulting
most part. Adulting,
sucks.
yeah. Right?
It sucks. They should have
I,
warned us about this.
I wish I go back to being a kid now, just like hanging out after school with my friends.
I agree. I'm doing great. I just got back from Atlanta. First time being there. I went there for our church sort of like concert. It's called Elevation Nights. I
I
went
saw.
there. Yeah, I went there with one of my BFFs, and it was great. It was amazing. It was awesome, and I loved it.
When you told me go to Atlanta, at no point did I think this was something church related. I wasn't thinking that at all. I was thinking something more close to the girls' trip.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, no, no. It was definitely church related. But I do like the city. I have to say, Atlanta has the worst drivers I've ever seen in my life. And
Yeah.
I've been to some places. Okay. The way they be cutting people is ridiculous. Like I was fearing for my life. There was a couple of times during the trip that I thought I was going to see Jesus. Okay.
Hmm.
Y'all people in Atlanta, please learn how to drive because y'all are crazy. Like it was some situations where I was like, this is not great. But other than that, it was cool. The food was really good. I had some really good food. But yeah, it was awesome. Like,
What about the people? I heard like Atlanta has some attractive people,
I mean,
but
I didn't see no attractive men. Maybe
okay.
yeah. I mean, maybe it was where I was at, and maybe I just wasn't. Look, I if there was a handsome man standing in front of me trying to talk to me, I would literally like look past him. That is where I am right now. That I am like my friends tell me all the time, like, girl, you are just a walking Like I am oblivious to everything. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask, but I didn't. There might have been, and I just completely missed it because that is
Hmm.
not on my radar whatsoever at all, which is terrible because I should definitely be looking to do to do that. But
I mean, Atlanta is the place for
it's
it, from what I understand. I mean, from what I heard,
from what I heard about
a lot of
Atlanta men. I don't know. Maybe that's not the place I should be looking to find a man.
well, admittedly, I've heard a lot of them might be playing for the other team.
Exactly.
So, but I've heard they're the women there, like they always, dress to the 9, to the 10,
Uh
look
huh.
really nice. And
Yeah.
I think Atlanta has the most black millionaires in America.
I think so.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So we went by was it Peachtree and Buckhead. So we were only there for like literally the weekend. But it was fun. It was fun. But
Mm.
I didn't see any men that I was interested in. And even if I
Okay.
did, I don't know if they bat for the other team. So
Right.
I'm gonna stay away from that. All
I
right.
think Bobby Valentino was caught down there doing something he wasn't supposed to do.
There were a lot of people that were caught down there that they weren't supposed to. Isn't that where the strip club Magic City is? I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
also
Okay.
Atlanta's also known for that too.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to what we are really here for. Not
All right.
let's not talk about me too much. So On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about what it seems like everyone is talking about. So I did a little segment, and it's on our YouTube page and all of our our social media where I talked a little bit about Prince Andrew. So I'm doing a little segment called Off the Top, and it's just like things that I want to talk about like right fresh on my head. They're like quick little like 10-15 minute videos, and we can like discuss more on this platform. But I really just needed to like get a lot of it out. So you can go check that out. If you have not checked it out, go check it out. But we're going to be talking about Prince Andrew, and well, former now Andrew, as he's now going to be known. And we're going to talk about just what we think about his title being taken away, and a little bit of accountabilities that seems to be coming now, and also when some will be coming for other people, if they will be coming for other people. We'll talk about that. And we're also going to talk about our lovely Vice President JD Vance and his comments regarding his wife and her religion, and also his hug with Erica Kirk that seemed very, very, very intimate. We're going to talk about that. And also, we're going to talk about just what is going on with our government right now with the shutdown, and people are going to lose their SNAP benefits literally as of this recording. So, what do we do? Like, I don't know, just everything that's going on with the state of us right now, and how we can at least try to help people and help each other. Yeah, so let's get into it. All right, where do you want to start? Because there's so much to cover right now. Where do you want to start?
We could start with the hug, the Erica Kirk and JD Vance hug.
All right, let's start with the hug. So there was a turning point. I guess it was like an event or something. And Erica Kirk, she's the wife, a widow now, of the late Charlie Kirk. And she was introducing JD Vance to come as the speaker. And the way she introduced him, look, I have male friends that I'm cool with. I'm not married, but I would assume if I was a married woman, I wouldn't be introducing another man's husband like that. Just saying. If you haven't seen the video, go see the video. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then the way they hugged each other, like she held him like by the back of the head.
By the back of the head.
By the back of the head. And she and he held her by the small of her waist. And I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous.
I must have seen an edited video, because there's a video where I see the part where she puts her hand in the back of his head.
Yeah.
But I don't see the part where he puts his hand on her hips. So I'm like wondering, like, is this video edited, or were it
might have been edited, because he held her by her waist.
Yeah.
There was no denying it. What are your thoughts on that? And second, when he got up there, he said something that I thought was kind of, I don't know. It was a little shady to me, but I don't know. He talked about how he wishes his wife would change religion, and talked about how she would find God the way he found God. And we all know about, like, he's trying to position himself as like this Christian nationalist and all that, and being married to a brown woman who is I believe first generation American, who come from immigrant family, does not go bode well for his constituents, let's say that. So what are your thoughts on this, and how do you feel about the comments he made regarding her religion?
Well, let's stick with the hug right now.
Let's stick with the hug.
The hug is too many subliminals, right? Too many, like, reading in between the lines. It's like, for me, I'm a master at the church hug. I'm a master at that. Like, hips are never aligned. One arm behind the back.
That's right.
I lean forward at an almost 45-degree angle. Cheeks are the only thing that's touching, and I only have one arm around you, like this.
Absolutely.
I give the church hug at all times. I don't know how anyone does that, especially when you are in a position of power, where people are watching you and you are married yourself. I'm gonna give a church hug every single time because any other kind of hug, people start asking questions.
Yeah.
So you're at a public event, you give a hug where both your bodies are right up against each other
Real close.
and on top real close. And it really was just like, why is she stroking the back of his head with her hand? That is what really kind of like crossed that line. Like, you don't do that to anyone other than your husband.
Yeah.
And that was somebody else's husband. And then for his hand to find his way on the small of her waist while wearing those leather pants. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few things going off. Like,
A
these are
few
red
things?
flags for anybody paying attention. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And the thing is, what makes it work worse was that at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, the way she leaned into the hug with Trump. I don't know if you saw that one too. It's like you
Yep.
kind of leaned in, you know, and that just doesn't look like something a mourning wife would do. I mean, we can't judge, we can only speculate, but that's a good speculation though.
It is good.
That's
It is a
that's
real
pretty
good
good.
speculation. So
Yeah,
there are a lot of people out there saying, "Damn, she moved on real quick," and they're saying that, look, I like a good conspiracy theory as much as the next person, right? So this is let me share a little bit of the conspiracy with you. So the conspiracy is that people on the internet are saying that JD is gonna eventually divorce Usher because she doesn't fit his his
right,
brand anymore, and Erica Kirk is gonna be Mrs. JD Vance number two.
right. I mean,
What?
like, I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him
Yeah.
in any way because, this is a guy that he called Trump an American Hitler in 2016, I believe. And he probably, because, like, I do believe that in politics, marriages are strategic.
Absolutely.
And I feel like he probably married Usha during the time where, that diversity look, that bringing together different groups look good. I'm a Christian, she's a Hindu, but we can still make it work. But within the party you have now, that's a contradiction.
It
That's
is.
an oxymoron. Those two things don't belong. You can't be America first while married to a brown Hindu woman. And now it makes people question your loyalty, which makes sense in that party. Now, on the left, it wouldn't be a big deal. Marry who you want, love who you want, as long as they're a good person and who
Right.
follows the laws and are a good citizen. But on the right, I can see how that very much looks like a contradiction. Like, how can you be a Christian married to somebody who's a non-Christian, who's the opposite of your faith? That would be a huge problem, even for me. And I'm not on the right, but I couldn't imagine marrying somebody who's a different faith from me other than Christianity. That would be weird. So if it's a problem for me, I know it's a problem for them.
I think that's why he made that statement as well, of like, I hope she finds God the same way I found God. Do you think, like, putting them aside for a minute, do you think relationships can work when two people are of different faiths?
I do. I do. I think any relationship could work if you're able to live with who they are. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
think with JD Vance, you went into that relationship knowing who she was
Right.
and you accepted it then. So you shouldn't have a problem with it now. And you definitely shouldn't have a problem with it because your constituents have a problem,
Right.
right? Like, if you didn't see a problem with it yourself, I don't see why it's a problem now. Has she still been a good wife to you, a good mother to her children? If in every other way she's been a good spouse, I don't see how her religious belief should be a problem now. But I think, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that question is gonna keep coming up against with his constituents, with the base. They're gonna see him as a walking contradiction.
Yeah, I think it's going to eventually be a problem for him because he's trying to position himself as like the successor for Trump apparently, and you know aligning himself with like the Christian nationalists, and
Mhm.
this is fundamentally against what they believe in.
Mm,
And so I'm not one to to speculate on anyone's marriage or wish bad on anyone's marriage, but I don't see this marriage lasting any longer for that particular reason, because I don't think she's going to convert. If she hasn't converted by
Right.
now, she's not going to convert. And you can't force someone to convert to another religion or leave the religion they were born with because you're trying to be political. At least I would assume that that's not what she's not that type of person. But again, I don't know her. But I could eventually see this becoming a problem. I also heard there were like speculations that they only held it together because he was selected for the VP, and if he had not been, that they were going to be separated and eventually divorced anyway. So
I definitely believe that. I believe that on her part, he saw where his political career was going, and that was motivation to stay. I
yeah,
definitely believe that. I do think that if he gets a divorce, it might actually hurt him more than staying in the marriage. Because
yeah.
at least as a Christian, he could say, "Well, I
Oh,
made
you
an
think?
oath as a Chris-"
Hold on. So you think if he divorces her, it's going to hurt him more?
yeah,
Oh,
because divorce is not allowed in the Christian faith unless there's been infidelity, right?
mm,
So divorce is frowned upon. I would assume that with the MAGA people, if they're truly conservative, they don't believe in divorce either. If I were him, I would say, you know what? I married her as she was,
I
but as
mean,
a
do that.
Christian,
Look, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Sorry, I wouldn't make that statement about the divorce because they're Almighty Most High. Isn't this his third marriage?
I mean, like, they may not give JD Vance the same kind of grace.
Okay. All
There's
right. You're
things they
right.
allow Trump to do that they won't allow anyone else.
Okay. Okay.
But I
Fair
would
enough.
say the biggest way for him to keep his constituents happy is to say, you know what? When I came into this, I wasn't the Christian man that I am now. However, as a Christian, I don't believe in divorce. He could go that route and say, I'm gonna stay with this woman and hope that she converts too.
Hmm.
I think he would gain more respect that way because because in a sense, by staying married to her, he is staying strong with his Christian faith. He is actually putting his Christian faith to work. And then there is a verse in the Bible that talks about being married to somebody who is of a different faith and staying with them in the hopes that they will convert. So I think that staying with her is better for him than divorcing her, because divorce is another thing just to be frowned upon.
I really thought that the whole thing was a little bit sketchy and inappropriate. I didn't like it. And you definitely should not be hugging a married man like that. That was just a little weird. And that's for like their marriage situation. I mean, he has biracial kids, right? And
Yeah.
so one other thing I wanted to kind of ask you is all of these people that weren't necessarily Trump supporters like way back in the day, right? They all thought he was, a narc. They hated him. They thought he was the next Hitler, all of this stuff. And now they're literally just like doing his every bidding. I don't think people like. Do you think this is truly what they believe, and he's just given them the license to come out and voice this, or do you just think this is all for political purposes? For it's like all a game, and they don't really believe. Because I strongly believe that these people don't believe half of the shit that they say, and all of this is just to be part of, the power and the politics and just be in the same room with him to stroke his ego, but I
What
could
do you
be wrong.
what do you mean if they don't believe like in the Bible? Is that what you mean? Like they don't
No, like I don't think they believe all of the rhetoric that they're saying. I'm trying to find a good way to put this. You can't go from one extreme to the other. You can't go from this guy's the devil to now
right,
he's Jesus incarnate.
right.
Like that, those two things don't make sense to me, especially in a very short span amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, there are truly some people that truly do believe in this whole, white nationalist, Christian nationalist movement thing. But then I feel like there are also some other people that are just in it for the moment or just in it for what they can get out of it. And once they've gotten what they can get out of it and being in a position of power that they want to be, that they truly do not believe the things that they're saying?
I
Or
would
is
say
it just
that.
me being naive?
I would say that. I would definitely say like that there's people in the upper echelon of politics. They don't believe 90% of what's being told, but it puts the country on a path where they're winning as well, where they're more likely to
Right,
win. I feel
right.
like a lot of them just want to make sure that America stays on top, stays number one. And of course, I do believe there's a few of them that do believe 100% in the rhetoric that the only way to make sure America wins is under a certain religion, under a certain kind of leadership, under a certain kind of gender. Like some of these Christian nationalists, they believe that not just the country but the world needs to be ran under one sort of ideal or banner.
Hmm.
Forget anyone else, whatever they think. Who cares what happens to the rest of us in the process?
Let's move on. All right, so let's move on to Prince Andrew, or now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. So he has been stripped of everything. Title, he's no longer the prince. He's no longer Duke of York. He's no like he has nothing left. They've kicked him out of his 30 room mansion that he lived in, Royal Lodge, all because of his connection to child abuser Jeffrey Epstein. I think it's about time. I think they've protected him for way too long. I think they've protected all these people, and it's time that all these people, all these men, need to be held accountable. Let's just say he claims that he does not know her, never met her, but for someone who you claim you never knew and never met, you sure paid her 12 million to shut up.
Right,
If I never met somebody and I didn't do anything, I'm not paying anybody.
right.
So he paid her the 12 million pounds to shut her up. She was like, nope, I'm not going to shut up. She wrote a book, which I think it's called Nobody's Girl, and they've released it posthumously because, as you know, she unalived herself back in April, which was very, very unfortunate. What do you think of this? I personally think that the UK is a lot less tolerable than we are here in America. I think they were like, this man has been chumming up and cozying up with the child abuser, and we're using our tax monies to put him up in a mansion, and he's still getting all of these royal privileges, and it's like it looks bad on the institution as a whole that they're protecting him. And I think his brother Charles was just like, you got to go, bro, like you got to go because this is looking bad on all of us. So what do you think of this whole situation, and what are your thoughts on it?
I think strategically they know something's coming out and they're trying to get ahead of it,
That's a good one.
right? Because like
Hmm.
you don't go to those
I didn't even
lengths,
think about that.
right? You don't go to those lengths to strip people of their titles, that kind of thing. Because they'll tell me your family hasn't had its scandals,
Yeah.
right? You've had the influence and the power to cover up this kind of stuff. Something tells me that this time you can't cover it up. Let's get out in front of it and deal with this now before the media, before the people put their spin on it. And he is probably just like one of the first dominoes to really fall. Because
Mm,
if he goes down, if they're able to, you know, get rid of him, Prince Andrew, if his power can't protect them, it's gonna have other people in the world who are involved. They're gonna be shaking in their boots. Who's next?
mm-hmm.
Because I see no reason why that man, you know, wouldn't want to sing like a bird now. After losing everything, he's gonna want to sing. So he's gonna probably try to extort people like, hey, I've lost everything. I've got nothing to lose. If you want me to stay quiet, you gotta pay me now.
See him talking though.
It's not that I don't see him talking. It's just the fact that can you live the life that the rest of us live? Can you be everyday normal person having to probably work a 9 to 5 if you can
I
do
think
it.
he's gonna work a 9 to 5, right? As much as they would like to say he's stripped of everything, they're still gonna put him in a country home, which is what they're doing. They're putting him in a country home and just leaving him there.
Mhm.
So it's not like he's gonna be put out in the cold like the rest of us, trying to fend for himself, working a 9 to 5. The guy is still rich, so I don't feel bad for him. Of like, oh, he's just gonna go away and he's gonna be like the rest of us. No.
But I do feel like the way it's looking, he's just one of the first dominoes to fall. It's only going to get worse from here. Because like I don't think people aren't letting this one go.
No, they're not. They're not. And we move on quick from issues, but I don't think people are moving on from this one. What about here in America? Like they're doing everything they can not to release these damn files.
See, the thing is, I think the upper echelon of politics are going to try to shield them, protect them. They're going to try to keep things on his wins, the things he's doing well. But I think even his base, um, the MAGA people, even they're going to be like, hey, you were supposed to release these files. What's happening? What's that? What's that woman that Jasmine Crockett always be dissing?
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Even she like really turned on the administration and was like,
Yeah.
where are these files at? What's happening? And I think it takes a lot of guts to do that, to really be like, where are these files? What's happening here? Like the people have a right to know. And I predict the Epstein file is going to be the thing that truly unravels his presidency, is going to be the killing blow if it comes out. The same thing happened to the KKK. Back in the day, they were considered like the Justice League. They were the heroes of the South, right?
Mhm.
And people were turning a blind eye to their violence to black people and anyone else they didn't like. But then one day, like the head of the KKK organization was found with a woman that he had viciously abused. Like he had bit out chunks of her skin. Like he had abused her. And that was one of the things that like took down the organization as a whole, because they were clearly like abusing their power.
Can I just say, don't you dare ever compare my precious Justice League to those filth. Okay? How
I'm
dare
just saying
you?
that's how they were viewed at the
How
time
dare
by
you?
people in the South. Like these guys were like their vigilantes. Just
Fan, I am offended. But
well, I'm
anyway.
not gonna compare them to the Avengers. I'm not gonna do
Ah.
that.
Funny. All right. Speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is what I was talking about like before. She's done a complete 180 with this administration. She was like the queen of conspiracy theories with her Jewish space lasers and all of the crap that she was talking. And now she actually makes sense a little bit, like with everything that's going on, talking about her constituents and healthcare and how this administration is just, they're not doing their job, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. The American people are like just saying things that we have been like, oh my god, yes, do your job, people. And that's why I'm like, these people know what they're saying is wrong. They know that what they're doing is wrong, and they don't believe half of this shit till they have to like answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And for her to completely go against them, I'm like, where did this come from? But I don't know if it's like, like, look, I can't trust her as far as I can throw her. So wherever this is coming from, I don't know if it's gonna last or not. But that's just what I'm saying, is like, they must see what's going on. They must see that what they're doing is not helping America first. That what they're claiming to do is just being selfish, and it's hurting the American people. Like, they have to know this. They have to see this.
Well, I think they always saw it, as long as the people they liked were winning, right? It was okay when people they didn't like were losing under these rules. But then when these rules finally turn against you, now you see the problem. And I think that's what's
Yeah.
happening here.
Do you think there will? I personally don't think these Epstein files are going to be released. I don't think so, which is a shame. And I know like some of the survivors have said that they're going to try to name their own names or write their own books or whatever it might be. But I know that even Virginia Giuffre Roberts, she talked about how in her book, she's still scared to name names, right? Even though she's no longer here, she said her family's still in danger and she still worries for her family. And she hasn't revealed any names, although I think people have put some of the connections together with the way she described them in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really happy that the royal family and the UK public as a whole have at least done a little bit of something. I don't think Andrew's going to jail. I don't know if he's going to be held accountable because as like I've seen enough to know that a lot of these powerful men do not get what's coming to them. They get away with everything, especially if they have money, especially if they have influence. It is what it is. That's just the world we live in. But I am happy to at least see that there's a little bit, like there's some form of justice, whatever, however little it might be, for him to lose everything, for him to lose what is important to him. And I do hope that a lot of the men that were linked to this child abuser and were chumming with him and hanging around him and abusing these women, I hope that they get their comeuppance and they get their karma. But I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna see it. I try to be optimistic about stuff, but this one I'm very uncertain. And also I wanted to mention I've heard a lot of people like the news organizations and all of that try to compare the situation with Harry and Meghan. Please stop doing that.
How so?
This has nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. So they've compared Andrew's situation to Harry's situation and saying, oh, well, they're now both been kicked out of the royal family. Harry lost his title as well. And both of what they did was like putting them in the same conversation as like two peas in a pod. As far as I know, Harry has not been seen with a child abuser. Harry has not done anything that is, I would say, is morally compromising like his uncle has. I think that's a different situation of, family tit for tat, of just talking shit about your family. I think that's what Harry and Meghan did. Whether true or not, I don't know. But I really do not like them to be put in the same conversation because I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to compare their situation with what happened to Andrew, because I think they were treated very unfairly. And I talked about this in my last video, that there's a double standard about this because let's be honest, I think race had a lot to do with the way they treated both Harry and Meghan. And they've been covering for Andrew for years. For years, they've been covering for him. And I know for a fact that they know this. They knew about this whole Epstein team like way back in the day. And they completely and utterly covered for him until now that they couldn't do that anymore. I'm not like a Harry and Meghan fan or whatever like that, but I just think that we should be non-biased about this and actually look at it from a reasonable view and not compare them, because Harry's never been accused of anything like this.
I think the average person understands there's really no comparison. They were excommunicated for two separate reasons. I think the average person knows that.
Well, do they? Because that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of social media things that I've been watching have been comparing them.
Those are people that probably already have a bias or hatred towards Harry and Meghan, and there really is no talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
But what Prince Andrew may have done, or whatever the case may be, that's gonna come to light, and he won't be able to hide behind any other story or scandal. Like once you're out on Front Street, we'll see what you are.
Yeah, and I don't think he can be protected anymore because the Queen was the one that was protecting him all of this time. So he doesn't have that protection anymore, and I don't think any of his family wants to be associated with him at this point. So yeah, let him go live in their other mansion in Scotland. It's like, I guess it's punishment enough, but the guy's still gonna be living in some kind of a estate. So whatever. Anyway, let's move on. All right. So the government shut down. as we know, has been going on for over 30 days now. It's on track to be like the longest shutdown in history. I think this is kind of a difficult one to talk about because there's certain things that I can't say and because I don't want to get in trouble. But let's just talk about like how these people are not doing their jobs and how like it's the holidays. People are already in a tight pinch as it is, and people are going to lose their SNAP benefits. And I think I heard one of the senators, I can't remember his name, say that that's a good thing because then all of these young men can go out there and get a job. And I'm like, sir, do you know who gets SNAP benefits? Are you even aware of who gets SNAP benefits?
It's mostly old people and people on like disabilities and stuff.
And kids.
Yeah.
Those are the people that get SNAP benefits. And so this idea of, oh yeah, it's good because, you know, now all of them can go get a job and they can stop using the system and you know, we can save on wasteful and fraud and all of this. And it's like half of your constituents are on SNAP. I don't know where this misconception that it's only Black people that are on SNAP. That's not true. Majority of the people that are on SNAP are white, low income communities. Those are the people that are on SNAP. Majority of them. And so like I just our quote unquote leaders would be honest and would actually educate themselves, because that is their job. It's their job to educate themselves on actually what is true and stop peddling misinformation out there. And it's really hard to know that whether they show up for work or not, they're still getting paid. But there are millions of people out there that are not getting paid during this shutdown, that are having to figure it out with their families, and the little help that they do get, they're going to lose that. What are your thoughts on this? Because I am very like, I'm trying to not be so angry about the whole thing, but it's really hard not to, because you have idiots who are pretending to be leaders.
Well, remember when Tupac said they got money for wars but can't feed the poor?
Yes.
So it kind of brought me back to that because an anonymous like billionaire paid $130 million to the troops
Hmm.
because of the government shut down.
They
And
found
now,
$24 billion, or is it $40 billion for
yeah,
Argentina,
right,
but they can't find money to pay us and feed people.
right. And now you got 42 million people at risk because of those SNAP benefits. So it kind of opens up your eyes. And I remember this one time I had a student that did this whole presentation about how, if we just took 1% of government spending on military and allocated it here to like medicine, poverty, that kind of thing, that would just taking 1% would change the whole game.
Absolutely.
So it's really unfortunate that the most vulnerable people are going to always suffer the most from these situations, from these government shutdowns. And it's like, we'll try to tell them, well, you've got to pick yourself up.
Hmm.
That's your fault. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Like, there's certain groups in our society that will always need our help. Like people who are elderly will need our help. People with disabilities will need our help. Children will need our help. Like people will fall on hard times. And
But
this
they
is
don't
where
care.
yeah, this is where the government, you have to step in. Yeah, that's why we're counting on you. That's why you are our government, right? You've got to see to it that your people don't suffer unnecessarily.
I think they just see it as it's able working people that are taking advantage, or it's blue states that are taking advantage. It's like majority of the people, a majority of the states that need help the most are red states.
Mm,
Blue states are paying for red states.
mm.
Like our taxes are going to red states to help them. And the nerve of a lot of these Congress people to say otherwise, just to try and like diminish or look down on a group of people, it's like your very same constituents are the ones suffering from this. Healthcare is going to go up tremendously, and it's people that are, you know, rural areas with hospitals shutting down that are going to be affected. We live in a big city. We can easily go down the block and there's like 3, 4 hospitals. But what
Hmm.
about people that live in rural areas that don't have that option? That have to drive, 2, 3, 4 hours just to get to a hospital because it's shut down because there's no funding. So they think they're hurting a specific group, but they're hurting their base the most. And I wish their base would understand that too.
I think the moment people can't put food on the table, they really start to understand.
Do that?
I think
I
so. I
mean,
think
price of eggs is still $12.
right. I think when people start to see like it's getting worse to a point where I'm struggling even more. That if that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. Right? If like the
I
struggle
hope
doesn't
so.
wake you up, I don't know what will. Because you thought under this presidency it will be a golden age and the people that you thought were the problem they go away and now
Mhm.
the problem is at your doorstep.
Right. I don't know. I don't see where America is first in all of this when they're giving other foreign countries money. Like, I don't know where America falls into play when you want to be a king, when companies are cutting jobs like crazy, when our income hasn't gone up in years. I don't know how that's helping America first.
I did hear it's going up to $25 an hour.
Where?
That was something that I saw like at in a Bank of America ad. It's like the thing the thing is like it doesn't matter if your wage goes up when you still have to factor in inflation. Because usually
Right.
when your wage goes up, everything goes up at the same time too. The price of food, gas. So then
Right.
it's not like you're really winning anything.
Shoot, I'm like, where are they handing out 25 more dollars an
Right.
hour? But yeah, everything has just gotten like people are suffering. America, like people are going into debt just to survive, you
Hmm.
know? And things are just getting harder and harder. People are maxing out their credit cards, they're taking loans to just to survive. Like it's people are really suffering out there. And the fact that our government is not doing anything about it and there's a was it $230 million ballroom being built?
Right. Like of all the things that we don't need.
There's a ballroom being like all of this shit is just look, it's stupid. Like it's stupid. I don't like my grandfather's grandfather making decisions for me. Like they cannot relate, and that's why I think we should have term limits. I'm sure that's a conversation we can have, but I feel like there should be term limits for all of them. Because they're so like they've been there so long. A lot of them they're so out of touch.
Yeah,
They're so out of touch. They have no idea what's going on with the people. Yeah. Did you see that video of the candidate in New York?
I think so.
What's his Mamzani? I think that's his name.
Okay. I've heard of him.
So they were having the debate for the mayoral candidacy, and I think one of the questions was, when you first go into office, what foreign country would you first visit, or something like that? And all of the other candidates like Comey and all of the other ones, they were like Israel. I'm going to Israel. And Mamdani was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here in New York. Like, is all the a foreign country is not going to elect me. I'm taking care of the people of New York. New York people are my concerns right now. And I think he's 30s, I believe. I think that's how old he is. And I'm like, that is exactly the type. Like, we need young blood because all of these old ass people are all out of touch.
Yeah.
Okay? You need to focus on this country. This country matters. Not saying other country doesn't matter, but stop poking your nose in other countries' business and actually focus on your own people that are here suffering. And we need more people. We need more leaders like that. So that's just my little
I
rant.
think I think that's what people are afraid of, and I think a lot of people are waking up to this idea like, why are we so concerned about what's happening in the Middle East
Right. That's
to a
not our
point where
problem.
our nation, our people are secondary to their needs. It's like we can address them, but the idea of America first is a bad idea to me. Putting your nation first, putting our needs first, that is what makes sense. But then somehow there's always an exception with some countries, and I'm like, I don't get that. How did that happen?
Right. I love the whole America First. I just wish that it was America First.
Yeah,
And it was all of America, not
all
a
of
certain
America.
group of America.
Yeah,
Not, all of America. I think that's where my little hiccup is I love it. I love America First. Love the whole slogan. I just wish we were all included in that America, and it was
yeah.
actually all of America first. But alas, that's not how it is. All right. Anything else before we go?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us on this episode. We definitely talked about a lot, so we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are, what you think. I would love to hear from you. We are on social media on the Foreign Lady Pod. We are on TikTok now. Haha. I finally cracked the TikTok code, I think. So we have clips there. You can watch all of the full episodes on YouTube and also on all of your podcast platforms. So make sure you support us there. Well, thanks everyone, and have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Foreign Lady.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to rate, like, and subscribe wherever you listen to the podcast.
Follow us on social media at The Foreign Lady Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.
Email us at theforeignladypodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.